Miss Torrance. This is Elizabeth McGill from Bayport, Long Island. I am in your PL 212 class. I'm just setting up my iPod here. Now, hopefully, this time it won't shut down. This is like my 6th time this happened. Unfortunately, I have too much stuff on my iPod. So, what I am using today, I am going to be making a curry bun. I am using a sauce called Tikka Masala Curry. For my sauce, I do pre-bought. I don't make my own. I'm sure you can see it in the background there. There it is. I've already pre-sliced my onions and stuff like that, so I just wanted to show you one onion. And this is a half of a sweet yellow onion. Now, I'm not going to cut it this way because there's not enough left, but I'm going to cut it this way, okay? And that means on against the grain. In other words, it's this way, and you're cutting like that, okay? I'm just cutting it up just like that. And I'm using about maybe a quarter today, maybe a little less than a quarter, just because I am halving this recipe. These over here, they are snow peas. Now, if you don't know what snow peas is, you'll find these in Chinese recipes and stuff like that. So I'm just cutting those up lengthwise too. Okay, forgive me. I'm also using something called matchstick carrots. These things are wonderful. They're already pre-cut for you, and they cook up really super easy. So let me just show you the sauce I'm using. Here it is. It's called. There you are. Now, since this is like the 100th time I've done this, this is like, unfortunately, I'm starting to run out of ingredients. I've already started in with my olive oil. It's just a little bit of olive oil in there. Let me just grab some onions. There we go. That's what you want to hear when you put stuff in. You know, you want to hear that sizzle, but it's a little too sizzling for me. Now the onions don't have to be exact. When you do chop, you want to keep your fingers curled and everything curled in, because if you chop your fingers off, that is one quick way to get to the hospital. So I'm just going to let those simmer. And simmer means on a low setting or a medium setting. So mine's on a 4. This is an electric oven, so it might be a little bit different for you on gas stoves. Next I'm putting in the matchstick carrots. Now I put in about maybe a quarter cup here on this occasion. There we go. I might stick a little few more onions in there just because I want to. That's wicked. Maybe it's less than a quarter cup. I really have no idea. I kind of eyeball this recipe. This is why I had to demonstrate it, because there are some recipes that you just have to demonstrate. That's just the way it goes. Your grandmother might have a recipe that you know by heart, and you have no idea what those ingredients are. You're just sitting there going, I know what those are. I know how it's supposed to look. I know how it's supposed to taste. No idea what the ingredients are. There are other types of curry out there, like 100 million. This is another one I like. This is a mild. Probably good with shrimp or chicken. That's beautiful. This one I haven't tried yet. Don't want to try it with the kids because it's a little too hot for them. But and that's another thing about curry. You know, when you're making curry, you have to really, really think about the other people who are going to be eating this stuff, because it can get quite, as my neighbor would say, pungent or spicy. I'm using baby bell mushrooms. I'm going to put them in next, just like that too. And there's probably about, for what I'm doing here in demonstration-wise, there's probably about 2 in there chopped. For what you'll see later on, I probably use a lot more than that, just because I could. The next, and I just want to get this so that way the carrots start to get a little bit soft. You don't want to get them super soft because it's got to get baked. Now I have already done my dough, and the way I do my dough is I buy it. That's right. I use this guy. You know who he is, and this is the pizza crust. You want to preheat your oven exactly as it says. It's 425. And you're probably wondering how I cut this. First of all, this is just half. So there's my other half. Half of the pizza crust that came out of there. And I already stretched it, and you want to make sure it's room temperature to stretch. And by stretching, you just pull at the ends like this. You can actually take it off and lift it up and shake it. And I just do all sorts of fun stuff until I get to the right size. When I cut this, I measured it to my palm. Now my palm happens to be maybe like 6 inches, I want to say. So I put my fingers down, and I went from maybe midpoint, which is like there, to my middle finger. These are all approximate cuts, and I sliced the knife this way. Let me just show you how I quickly did that with the other knife, and my daughter's stripping, sorry. You might hear her. Cutting this way. Okay. And then I take my hand again, and I go by my thumb and cut it that way. So that's how long and wide it really technically should be. Now, each size is not going to be perfect as the other size. That's fine. And we're not going to be nitpicky over here. Okay, that looks like it's cooking nice. Now I'm going to add my garbanzo beans. I'm using my garbanzo beans as an alternative to chicken. Now, you can put chicken in here. As you can see, I'm not really using a spatula to mix this all up. Hold on. Alright, while that's cooking, how about we go and see Sasha? Excuse me for 2 minutes. Hey, Sasha, come here. Forgive me, this is my daughter. Say hi. And this is one of the problems you can come upon when you're trying to cook. You have small children who want to try to get undressed, and they're trying to undress themselves in weird ways. So let me help her out. I'm sorry. This is just not part of the cooking, but it is part of critical thinking. What do you do when your child wants to strip and she can't strip, or she wants to do something that you just don't have 2 hands for? Oh, there you go, baby. Excuse me. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh, you want the shoes off now? See, this is just the thing. You just gotta go with the flow as a mother. You know? Come on, the other one. Okay, we're gonna get you back dressed because we gotta go to May. Say bye-bye. Okay, say bye-bye. Bye. Yeah. So, Sasha likes to be naked every so often. Kind of annoying, but what happens. So as a mom, you just go with the flow. Sometimes you're just like, I want my shirt off, I want this off, I want that off, and you're just like, no, you can't have that off. And they're like, yes, we want it off. So, I'm actually going to, for this, well, I'm using, like I said before, the Tikka Masala. So I need to open one little jar up. Give me a second here. I'm going to put you like that. There you go. There we go. And just a little bit. Don't need much for this one because it's not that big. You don't want to kill it. And just let that simmer. Now, the next thing you want to put in are your snow peas because those take just a little bit longer. And I'm going to save that one for Daddy. Put a little extra spice in there. My husband will love that. Alright, so we're going to let that settle for a few minutes. We don't want to let it settle too long because, you know, otherwise it gets all yucky. Alright, at the end, now this is starting to simmer and do its thing. This is going to take maybe another 2 or 3 minutes just to do its thing. But like I said, I'm doing this pretty quick so that way you guys can get the gist of this. Now I'm going to sprinkle, at the last, you want to sprinkle some spinach over that. Now why am I saying that's last? Because spinach, well, it wilts very, very easily and very effectively. This is a great recipe. If your kids are really not into vegetables, you can hide them on them this way. It's a beautiful thing, alright? So I'm going to let that just cook. And the spinach is about, I use about 10 leaves, maybe 20 leaves. You roll them up like a little cigar, you know, you roll them up. Let me see if I have any out. I don't. But you roll them up and then you chop them. It's so super easy. Have you ever seen Rachel Ray like do her basil leaves? That's exactly it. Okay, so I'm going to turn my stove off so I don't burn the house down. So I'm going to plant this once again. Here you go. Say hi, people. Alright, give me a picture. So this is my dough and the finished product. That's right, this is the finished product. So all in all, it's 1 can of garbanzo beans, maybe a half cup to a cup of carrots, 10 snow peas diced, a quarter of an onion diced, calling this diced, some olive oil for the pan, about maybe a tablespoon or so, don't know, and as much pizza, I would get 2 cans of that pizza crust stuff because trust me, you'll run out of it quick. So this is the finished product. This is what it looks like. As you can tell, it's cooled down, it's thickened up a little bit. That's great because that makes it easier for me to handle. I can put it in these little balls. So I'm just going to put this over here. Oh, here's Sasha. What do you want, honey? Oh, your socks off? Okay. So So Sasha wants her socks off. So I use about a tablespoon, which is about that tablespoon, by the way, of this stuff. Now, here you go. Hold on. Yeah, you got your socks? Okay, go do what you want with them. Just making hand puppets out of her socks. So let's just say it's gonna look like that. Okay, so it's a good tablespoon in there. Now I could probably put a little bit more in there just to make myself happy. Yeah, it might be a little too much. Alright? So what I do is I start folding, and like puff pastry. You know, if you ever made puff pastry before, it kind of looks like this. Now, the way I learned to make these silly curry buns is that they're technically never curry buns. They were what we call in my house chashu bars or pork buns. Now, this one's going to come out. Well, this is one of the problems I come alongside of when I make these things. I sometimes put a little too much in. I sometimes don't really pay attention and deal with other things and end up coming out just a little bit funky. And there we go. And it should come out looking like a nice little folded piece there. And I'm going to do another one for those for you because I figured. And I have a couple over here set up for you because I'm just that nice. Okay, so we're going to do another one. Here you go. So as you fold this, and we're only going to do a tablespoon in that because that was just a wee bit too much last time. So as you fold it, you want to take the corner like this and bring it over. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to take the other corner and fold it over. So it should look like a little blanket. Looks like a little burrito, right? Okay. Now we're going to fold it. Now if it starts to tear or anything like that, don't get aggravated with it. We used to call these the pork buns curse buns because my mother would sit there and because she would make the dough by hand and everything like that, and we used to poke and make fun of her, and I didn't understand why she would like curse and swear. And I tried them one time myself and realized why she was cursing and swearing. The dough is very, very thin when you make it to the appropriate specs. If you make it like this, the dough holds up so much better. I find that the pizza dough just works so much better for this recipe. I've even used it for my pork buns because it's just a better recipe. It just works. Even going to your local pizza store and, you know, flattening out the pizza dough and doing it that way. So once again, we're going to fold. And as you can see, the problems that I have to incur. And I'm doing this with one hand, by the way. I usually do this with like two. Sometimes one with a small child on the hip or something like that. Okay. And try to keep your hands as clean as possible. I mean, I have paper towel by me and all sorts of towels. Because as soon as this, and you can see, it's not pretty when you do it with one hand, or you're trying to do this and it's just not turning out well. You just make do. Kind of honestly, that's my opinion. Just make do, because there's no reason to get aggravated about it. Nobody's gonna notice except maybe, you know, not even kids. The kids don't care. Trust me, they just don't. Like, oh, it's food. And that's one of the reasons I'm showing you this. This gets eaten by my kids, by the way. They will eat this. Maybe just a little, yeah, there we go. You can say it's not really big. I just want the edges to show. And I'm not using any egg wash. I'm not using anything crazy. I'm not going crazy here. I'm just folding a little burrito, and then we pack it all up. You want to tighten the edges like this, like that. There you go. Now, if you want to get fancy schmancy, as we would say, fancy schmancy, you want to make it kind of look like a little bun. This one's going to be my gorgeous bun. You just want to make it look like a little bun, okay? Now, I already have some over here for you. And as I say, you want to get fancy schmancy. There we go. And I've already sprayed Pam on this and everything like that. I'm going to spray a little bit more Pam on the top so that way these things will not burn. You do not want these things to burn. You just want to get them brownish. So I'm just spraying a little Pam on that. Now, if you want to get fancy schmancy, you can take some curry powder and put them on top. But once again, curry powder, you got to be careful with this stuff. You can put some sesame seeds on it and stuff like that. And sesame seeds are $4.25. And you just stick that in. And that's pretty heavy because it's a stone pan. And there it goes. Okay. And I'm going to put the timer on for 10 minutes. And that's all it takes, about roughly 10 minutes. Or until golden brown. Now, because I'm a smart person, I already made some. So here we go. This is the way they're supposed to look. And these have already cooled, and I can touch them, and they're not too hot. My daughter's eyeballing them like crazy. And when you cut them, I'm going to bring this one over back. Now you can cut these, you can do whatever you want with these. I'm going to show you how we serve them at my house. I'm just going to remove some stuff. Now, for children, I would not touch this. This is perfect just the way it is. My kids go to school with this stuff, you know, and they're like, yum, yummy. So what I do is when they go to school, just break it in half. It should look pretty even. I mean, it should just kind of look like that. If it doesn't, who cares? It's food. What we do for and then this one's going to go to my daughter. So I'll put that one to the side. Let's not try to kill her. Okay, so I'm going to open up this one. This one's going to be mine. And like I said, it's not particularly always the same. But if it's not, it's okay. It's just, you just deal. You put it, I put these on the plates. Okay, goes on the plate. Now, if you want, you can add condiments. Now, the condiments I use is sriracha. That's it. That's all I use. I just use a little sriracha. You can put it here. And hopefully I opened it up. Probably not. Ah, there we go. Didn't open it. So you could do a little bit like that. And spray it over. My husband would probably douse this in hot sauce and then sriracha. He's just that crazy. So anyway, this is the way it's supposed to be. It is a very simple recipe. You do not have to cook those garbanzos all the way through because they're already coming out of a can. They're kind of cooked already. You do not have to cook the carrots all the way through. Everything doesn't have to be all the way through because you are baking this for a good 10 minutes or until at least, you know, my kids like to sometimes watch these things. You see there, they're coming along. It doesn't take so long. It's a good, fast, quick recipe. You can use anything you like. I've used chicken for this recipe. I've used tofu for this recipe. I've used also different types of things, vegetables and stuff like that. I found the baby, Chinese carrots that don't really work well for this recipe because you gotta really, really dice them up. But all in all, this is just my fun way of making like a curry into something else, or having leftovers. This is kind of leftovers. When you do make this into a curry, there you go. When you do make this into a curry, you want to serve this with rice. Now, I generally serve it with a sushi rice. You can serve it with jasmine rice, or you can use the success rice. It's not done in the buns. I usually take the rice and the curry later and make it into the buns and stuff like that. You can do that. This is actually really good just this way, just taking the curry and shoving it in there. This is one of those semi-homemade recipes. Things that can go wrong, you can cut your finger off. Please don't do that. You always got to be careful with your fingers. You can have a small child who wants more of your attention than your food does. So remember, turn your stove low if you have a small child and they require your assistance or something like that. So thank you so much for being a part of my video. I will try to write some of this recipe down. Like I said before, it's not really a written recipe. It was one that I made up myself. It's so, all my friends love it. My kids love it. And hopefully you can make this yourself at home. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. But also, I hope you have a good evening and enjoy eating.